up? How you doing? Somewhere in the mid part of my 5th grade year of my education, there was a kid in my class. His name was Peter, and I'm not going to tell you his last name because I don't know if he's changed since then. I don't want him to get ridiculed at work. But anyway, this kid Peter, he smelled like cow's ass. So they had him sitting way in the back by himself, and if you had to go back there and give him a piece of paper or something, or give him his test results back, you literally had to have a respirator mask on. So after, many months of putting up with this unique odor, I decided that I was going to do something about it. Now, in those days, my mother was friends with the Avon lady, so when the Avon lady came by, I said, you know what, let me get something for myself. And I got a bottle of talc. It's like that big, and it had kind of like, the outside looked like that of a bowl. So, the lady comes back a couple of weeks later with my little bottle of talc, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to take this to school, and I'm going to sprinkle some of this, talc on Peter, and this will make him smell fresh. So I put the talc in my bag, put my books in, and the next day got to school. Now, first class was math, and I sat in those days, or at that particular time, right at the front of the class. So I stand up, put my bag on my desk, I open the bag up, and I pull the math book out, and as I pull the math book out, the bottle of talc jumps out with it, only that the bottle of talc got squished by all my books, and all the talc spilt all over the place. It was just a big cloud, looked like a nuclear explosion. And nobody noticed for about a quarter of a second. There was silence, and the teacher was writing a math problem on the blackboard. Actually, it was green. And all of a sudden, an eruption of laughter. And I said, I'm going to get screwed here. Teacher spins around and immediately looks at me for some reason, and there's a big cloud, big dust cloud, right above my table, just lingering. It kind of looked like I took the blackboard erasers and just clapped them there for about 20 minutes, and I had this big cloud. Anyway, teacher yells at me, go to the principal's office. And I go, yep, we're screwed. So I go to the principal's office, and I'm kind of hanging outside, and I'm supposed to knock on the door, and I'm thinking, I'm really, really, really in trouble here. I knock on the door, says, what do you want? And I said, something happened, and I explained. And the principal says to me, why don't you tell me that story again? Why did you have talc in your bag? So I explained the story again, and they wouldn't believe the story, or they found it too ridiculous or something like that. So I ended up explaining that story like 10 times, and they called my father up. My father was at work, and they told him, you have to come over here, and something happened. So meantime, they told me, you got to go and sit with the first graders while your father gets here. So they put me in this class. I'm like a giant in there compared to them, and I'm sitting in the back of the class in first grade. So finally my father comes, and I hear banging on the door, and I go, yeah, that sounds like him. So he comes in and goes into the principal's office. Then they call me, and she says, sit down. And I go, okay. And I sit down, and she says, now explain again why you had that talc and why you had that cloud above your desk. So I tried to explain, but then I got angry because I just explained it all those times. She could have just as easily said what happened. So anyway, thing is that I got in big trouble, and they gave me a good amount of detentions based on that. So I could have basically just minded my business and let the kids smell in the back and not said anything about it, and not gotten in trouble. But that's what happened to me in 5th grade. And that kid really, really smelled like cow's ass. He did.